So I was honored when Freedom asked if I'd be a part of their segment on upcycling. They know I'm an avid maker and collector and appreciator of all things upcycled. And so I've invited you into my home today to take a look at a few of my very favorite pieces. And this piece is a favorite of mine, came to me at Christmas, a present from a very dear friend of mine. It has 5 karate belts that have been woven together and stitched at very important spots to keep this shape, stitched with a 1930s Pfaff sewing machine, and the light was built with IKEA pieces. And when you come into my place from the back deck, it's important to have a mat because we just have tiles here. This is one that my grandma made. It's using traditional hooked mat techniques, so using a burlap base. And she cuts up old t-shirts that she gets from garage sales or flea markets, using a rotary cutter, cuts them into thin little strips and then weaves them onto the burlap. This is one of her smaller pieces. She's actually been working on much larger ones lately. And welcome to the kitchen. This is where the party always is. So for these chairs, I took some basic IKEA chairs that I picked up on Craigslist for pretty much a song. And I used these vintage Canada Mint bags and reupholstered the seat. 2 different styles. So for the 4 chairs, we've got the 1 cent, which has been blacked out, the 25 cent. And these were washed about 8 times to get the stink of all the old money out, but now they're fresh like daisies and make some really interesting chairs. Okay, and welcome to my bedroom. I feel like I'm on MTV's Cribs today. So first thing you usually notice when you walk in is sort of the focal point. So we have here 2 pillows that have been recovered in actually an old scarf that I had. So you can display the pillows kind of one of 3 ways to get a slightly different look. And the bed itself is quite a spectacle. So a very dear friend of mine, Ian, is a carpenter and designer. So this is definitely a one-of-a-kind bed. So the legs of the bed are made from Mazda Miata car suspension springs. And no, it's not like a slinky bed. It is much more stable than it looks. And my bedside table is one actually from Freedom Clothing Collective. So the story goes that Karen and Jelena painted the table, painted the top in this cream white color, and weren't really pleased with how it turned out. So they sanded it down again, and in the interim, the trees in the area start to cast these beautiful shadows onto the top of the table. And they grabbed a pencil and started tracing the outline of the trees, and then hand painted just along where the trees had cast shadows. And this is also great because it gets to show the beautiful wood underneath. And this beautiful piece is another from Freedom Clothing Collective. This one was reworked by Jelena. So taking an old armoire, sanding it, painting it this beautiful matte black, and has a lot of storage to hide all of your awful mess. A little embarrassed, but I'm going to show you what's in here. So the original rod is up here, so I have these baby hangers and a number of hooks for all the bag of bags and the rest of the junk that goes in here. This is really handy as a cupboard as opposed to a drawer, so this is like the linens, and 2 really deep drawers, so one for sweaters, one for jeans. The knobs are not the originals that Jelena placed on the armoire. The originals were mercury glass and extremely delicate. I did indeed break one. These are from a flea market in Berlin when I was there a couple years ago. And so not to let beautiful mercury glass knobs go to waste, I repurposed them on this cedar chest, which I picked up at Value Village a few years ago. It has all of my off-season clothes in it at any given time. So these knobs aren't actually used on the piece, so they're great for just decoration.
All right, so this is probably my favorite piece that I received as a Christmas gift this year. So unfortunately, the film won't do this justice. It's really something you need to feel. It's almost so soft you can't even feel it. It is from a vintage fur coat, I think from the 1950s, that my mom found at a church sale. She paid $5 for this full-length women's coat. She took off the collar, ripped out the lining, and the result is a couch throw that's softer than most people can even feel. And looks great with my pillows here. Two of these are Freedom pillows. This one here in this beautiful print. And this one, tell me what you can see. We can do some psychoanalysis on that later. And this one is one that I made myself. This is another favorite piece of mine by the same designer who made my bed. And so the shape of this is incredible, and it's actually solid wood. I couldn't even begin to explain the construction to you. And works great as a stool or as an end table, and looks great with the Liz Ashton coasters on top. So a fridge collage is a necessary part of any house that I live in. And this one's a little something special. For my housewarming, I covered the entire outside of the fridge in cardstock. The fridge is sort of an uninspired beige. And so for the housewarming, I covered it in paper for everyone to sign. And I haven't taken it down. It's become a living piece of art. Everyone who comes by has something to write on it. And I added this Toronto Bent Beauty Supreme poster, which was posted up at Freedom. This is from November 2013. So the last piece I'll show you today is a wreath that I made. The base of it is from a pedestal fan that I found in the trash. And the peacock feathers are from Kensington Market. And the glue gun burns have healed. So I want to say thanks for joining me today on the tour of my house. I hope this has inspired you to support local artists, to look at things a little differently, and to not be afraid to get your hands dirty for our project. So thanks so much, and come by for brunch sometime.